Hi, welcome to my video on the area of a circle. The area of a circle. Here's a circle. O is the center, R is the radius, and the formula for the area of a circle is pi r squared. Find the area of each circle to the nearest hundred. If the radius is 4, area is pi r squared, so it's 3.14, and r is 4 squared. So you take a calculator and you take 3.14 multiplied by 16 and you will get 3.14 times 16, and the answer becomes 50.24 to the nearest hundred. And the unit is meters, so it's square meters. B, the radius is 3.1, so the area is pi r squared, 3.14 bracket, 3.1 squared. And if you work all that out on a calculator, you'll get 30.1754. And you want to round it to the nearest hundred. So 7 is in the hundredths place. So all the digits to the right become 0. If this number is 5 or greater, you add 1 to 7. So you get 30.18 to the nearest hundred. And it's feet, so it's square feet. Area is in square because it's 2 dimensions. And C is 2 1/4 centimeters. Area is pi r squared, 3.14, and it's 2 1/4 squared. And 2 1/4 can be changed to 1/4 is out of 100 is 25 out of 100, because you multiply by 25 over 25, and 25 over 100 is decimal 25. So when you take a calculator and go 3.14 times 2.5 in brackets squared, you will get 1589625, and you round that to the nearest hundred. Well, the 9 is in the hundredths place. This digit is 5 or more, so we add 1 to 9 to get a 0. So it's 15.9 to the nearest centimeter, and the area is in centimeters squared. Practice means pause the video and work the 3 of those out. When you get them done, you can do them one at a time, or you can do all 3. Here we go. Area is pi r squared. So it's 3.14 times 10 is the radius, so it's 10 squared. And so it's, if you want, 3.14, 10 squared is 100. Don't need a calculator for this one. So it's 3.314, because when you multiply by 100, the decimal moves 2 places to the right. And it's to the nearest hundred, so it's inches, so it's square inches. Number 2, the radius is 6.7 millimeters, so the area is pi r squared, 3.14 times 6.7 squared. And when you use your calculator and work that out, you'll get 140.9546, and you round that to the nearest hundred. 140. Hundreds is 5 is in the hundredths place, so the number digit to the right is less than 5, so we keep the 5 as it is, so it's 9.5, and it's in millimeters, so it's millimeters squared. Number 3, we have a circle, center O, and that's the radius of 6, so the area is pi r squared, so it's 3.14 with 6 being squared. And you use your calculator. 3.14 times 36, or 6 squared, gives you 113.04. And it's yards, so it's square yards. Let's continue. The area of a circle. We know that the diameter, if you draw a circle and that's always the center, and that's the radius. If you go right straight on across, you'll get an R and an R, so the diameter is twice the radius. The diameter is twice the radius in a circle, so D equals 2R. Or the radius is half the diameter, whatever way you want to do it. So if you got D is equal to 2R, if you want to get R, you divide by 2. So 2's cancel, you get R, and D divided by 2 is 1/2 D. So let's work these out. If the diameter is 8, then the radius is 4 meters. If the radius is 3.1, then the diameter is double that, so 6.2 feet. And if you have a diameter of 2.5, well, let's see, 2.5 is, you could make it 2.5, and divide by 2, that gives you 1.25, and it's in centimeters. So half of 25 is 1.25. Practice means pause the video and work these answers out. Here we go. Radius is 6, so the diameter is 12, and it's in inches. And if your diameter is 5.3, then 5.3 divided by 2 gives you, and you can use your calculator, you get 2.65, and it's millimeters. And if your diameter is 3 1/5, let's try, 3 2/5, that gives us 15 plus 2, 17/5. And you want to take a half of it, which is multiplied by a half. That gives you 15/10. Divide by 10 and you get 1.7, and it's miles. Find the area of each circle to the nearest tenth. A, we have a diameter of 6, so the radius is 3, because when we work the area of a circle is pi r squared, so we need a radius. So 3.14, and our radius is 3. So we get that's a 9, so 3.14 times 9 gives us 28.26. And to the nearest tenth, 2 is in the tenth place, so this number is 5 or greater, so we add 1 to 2, so it's 28.3, and it's square feet. And B, we have a diameter of 7.8, so the radius is 3.9 meters. Take a half of it. So the formula is pi r squared, so it's 3.14 times 3.9 squared. Use your calculator, and you get 47.7534, and you round that to the nearest tenth. Again, the 7 right here is in the tenth place, so this number is 5 or greater, so we add 1 to 7, so we get 47.8, and it's in meters, so it's square meters. Notice that when you round to tenths, all the digits to the right of the 7 become 0. Then, if this is 5 or greater, you add 1, so you get, just show you that all these digits to the right of this 7 become zeros, and you don't have to write them in. And 1 3/4, 1 3/4 is 7/1 times 4 plus 3 is 7/4. When you take a half of it, it's multiplied. When you divide by 2, same as taking a half. So that's 7/8. And 7/8 becomes 0.875 when you divide it out. And the area is pi r squared. So it's 3.14 times 0.875 squared. Use your calculator and you'll get a 2.404, etc., etc. And when you round that to the nearest tenth, you get a 2.4. And it's in centimeters, so it's centimeters squared. Let's continue. We have the area of a circle done. What about the area of a semicircle? A semicircle is a half a circle. Its area is half the area of a circle. So if the formula for the area of a circle is a equals pi r squared, then the formula for a semicircle is half pi r squared, or 0.5. You can use a half or a decimal 5. Let's find the area of each semicircle to the nearest tenth. So if the radius is 3, so the area of a circle is pi r squared, but we can put a half in front of it and we'll get a semicircle. So that's a half. Pi is 3.14, and our radius is 3, so it's 3 squared. And you work that out with you can go 0.5 times 3.14 times 9 on the calculator, and you get 14.13. And you round that to the nearest tenth, you get 14.1. This digit becomes 0. This number is less than 5. So therefore, you leave the 1 as it is, 14.1 meters squared. We have a diameter of 8, so that means the diameter is 8, the radius is half of that, 4. So the area is pi r squared for a circle, but we're doing a semicircle, so we put the half in. So it's a half, 3.14 times 4 squared. Use a calculator and go 0.5 times 3.14 times 16, or 4 squared, and you get 25.14, and you round that to the nearest tenth is 25.1, and it's centimeters, so it's squared. Now C is a little bit different. We have a circumference of 6.28. Now circumference of a circle is C equals 2 pi r, and so we get 62.8 is 2 times 3.14 times r. So 6.28, and 2 times 3.14, 6.28 r. We want r, so we divide each side by 6.28. That cancels. So up here I get r is equal to, so 62.8 divided by 6.28 is 10. You can use your calculator or do your division. And we want the area of a semicircle, so it's a half pi r squared. Remember, to get the area of a circle, you need your radius. So we did the circumference formula to work out the radius of 10, so it's a half, 3.14 times 10 squared. And so it's 0.5 if you want to do a half. 0.5 times 3.14 times 100, and that gives us 157, and it's feet. So it's no rounding, it just is right on 157. And practice means pause your video and work out the 3 of these. As you get them done, play your video back to see if you're right. We have a circle, and notice I have a half the circle shaded in, so we're getting the area of the shaded region here. So the area, we have the radius as OA is 12, so the area is a half pi r squared, a half 3.14 times 12 squared. And when you plug that in the calculator, decimal 5 times 3.14 times 12 times 12, or 12 squared, 144. The answer comes out to be 226.08. And when you round it to the nearest, we're rounding to the nearest tenth, so it's 226.1. The 8 becomes a 0. This number is greater than 5, so we add 1 onto the 0. And it's in millimeters, so it's millimeters squared. Number 2, we have a diameter of 6.4, so that means the radius is half of that, is 3.2 feet. And the area of a semicircle is a half of pi r squared, so it's a half of 3.14 times 3.2 squared. Again, a calculator, a half is 0.5, decimal 5 times 3.14 times 3.2 squared gives you 16.0768, and we round it to the nearest 10, so it's 16.1. These numbers right here become to the nearest tenth, So let's make sure this is in the zeros in the 10th place. So this is a 1. These digits become zeros. Because this is 5 or greater, we add 1 to 0. So 0 plus 1 is 1. And that's in feet. So it's feet. So 16.1 square feet. And again, we have a circumference of a circle. So we need the radius to get the area. So circumference is 2 pi r. Circumference is 31.4 times 2 times 3.14 times r. So 31.4. 2 times 3.14 is 6.28 r. Divide by 6.28 on each side. They cancel. And I get r. And when I divide that out, I get, let's see, what do I have here? I get, when you divide with a calculator, 31.4 divided by 6.28, you get a 5. And so the area of the semicircle is, a circle is pi r squared, so semicircle is a half of it. So it's a half times 3.14, and the radius is 5 squared. Again, decimal 5 times 3.14 times 25 gives you 39.25. And we got to round it to the nearest tenth. So 2 is in the 10th place. Because this number is 5 or greater, we add 1 to the 2 to get a 3. So it's 39.3. And it's meters, so it's square meters. And let's continue. So now we have some extra problems working on the area and semicircles. Again, practice, work one at a time if you wish, see if you can get the right answers. We're trying to get the area. It says we have, it looks like a semicircle here, and this distance is 4 and 12. We got 2 right angles, 2 sides equal, so if that's 12, then that's 12. It says find its area to the nearest tenth. We got to get the area. So what happens, we got a semicircle. So it looks like this big figure, if I enclose it all, draw this down right here, it looks like this is a rectangle. So if I get the area of the rectangle and I get the area of the semicircle and subtract them, that gives me the area of the region that's in right here. So the area of a rectangle is length times width. The rectangle is 12 and the width is 4. So the area of the rectangle is 48. And again, we're in centimeters, so it's square centimeters. Now I have to get the area of the semicircle. And from there to there is 4. So if I go down through here, I get a 4. That means I have a diameter of 4. That means I could have a radius of 2. So if that's 4 down through here, then 2 there and 2 there. So the radius of the semicircle is 2. And the area of a semicircle is a half pi r squared, a half a circle. Pi is 3.14 and the radius is 2, and I'm squaring it. When you work that out with a calculator, you get 6.28. And it's, let's see, we have to round it to the nearest tenth. So that's 6.3. And again, we're doing area, so it's in centimeters, so it's centimeters squared. So the area of the region, let's call it the diagram, is the rectangle, the area of the rectangle minus the area of the semicircle. And so when you subtract that, you get 41.7, and it's centimeters squared. Again, 48 is a decimal right there, and the 6 is 6.3. And when you subtract, you can't. So the 8 becomes a 7, and that becomes a 10. 10 subtract 3 is 7. 7 subtract 6 is 1. So 41.7 centimeters squared. Number 2, if you have your video pause how did it work out? How did number 1 work out? Hopefully everything is okay. And it says, it looks like we have that's a square. It looks like all sides are equal. But let's read. We have a circle. There's a center right there. The area of the square is 36 square feet. Find the area of the circle to the nearest 100. So if we have a square, the formula for the area of a square is s squared. So if the area is 36, 36 goes on in place of area, s squared. If 36 is s squared, s must be the square root of 36, so s must be 6. So get the area of a circle. The area of a circle is pi r squared. So if the square got a 6 and a 6 and a 6 and a 6, that means that the side is 6, so the distance through here is really, that square is that side of 6 is your diameter of your circle, right straight across or right straight up and down to the center. That means your radius of the circle is 3. So the area of a circle, you need your radius, so we have it. Again, the side is 6 and the diameter is 6. So that means your radius is 3, so we got 3.14 times 3 squared. And you work that out with a calculator, and you get 28.26. So it's dead on. And the unit is feet, so we have square feet or feet squared. And number 3, what do we have? It looks like we have P, we have a right triangle. The hypotenuse is 13, the leg is 12. We don't have this side, but it says find the area of ABC to the nearest tenth. Now, this whole diagram, this is PABC, but we just want the area of ABC, this piece right here. And that region, which is this looks like a semicircle. So what we have to do is get the length of AC. But because we have a right triangle, we can use what we call the Pythagorean property. C squared is A squared plus B squared. Very important property. I'm always stressing it. C is the hypotenuse, which is opposite to the right angle, so that's 13. The other two sides are 12. And if we want to call that X or AC, we can call it X or AC. Don't make any difference. 13 squared is 169. 12 squared is 12 times 12 is 144. And we want X squared by itself, so we move the 144 to the left side and make it negative. That gives us a 25 for X squared. So X is the square root of 25. So X is 5. Now that we have 5 is the distance of AC, and that's the diameter. So if the diameter of the circle is 5, then the radius is 2.5. So that we have a semicircle, so the area of a semicircle is half the circle. Circle is pi r squared, so we have a half a circle. So it's a half times 3.14 times the radius of 2.5 being squared. Plug that in your calculator, and you got a 0.5 times 3.14 times 2.5 times 2.5 or 2.5 squared. Whatever way you want to do it, you got 9.8125. And you want to round that to the nearest, it says to the nearest tenth. So the 8 is in the tenth place, so that means all of these digits become 0. This 1 is less than 5, so the answer is 9.8. We do not change the 8, do not add anything on. And that's in millimeters, so the answer to this is that figure is 9.8 square millimeters. That's working out the area of a circle and the area of semicircles using different. I always like to add extra diagrams. If you like my video, click the like button. If you're not a subscriber, click the subscribe button and click the notification bell because there's more videos being done. And if you are a subscriber, write a comment if you wish. And you can also visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com. And there you'll get information on me, the videos and the content that's on my YouTube channel. And I'd like to thank you very much for viewing my video. Bye-bye.